The little job we're going to attempt today is to fit the shiny new bath panel to our shiny new bath. Now the bath panel, which came from plumworld, I think, .co.uk, is in two parts. It's the panel itself is 445 millimeters tall by 15 millimeters thick, and it comes with a separate plinth which is 150 millimeters by 10. So it's a two-part bath panel, apparently thus so that you can adjust it to any height bath. The tricky bit comes with fixing a frame into the bath around the edges and along the floor for this panel and plinth to fix to. It seemed to me that if I prepared a piece of timber with a cutout for that waste, I could fix this up under the bath there, and that would work as the top part of the frame. I did think maybe I could screw it through the timber there, through the batten, up into the edge of the bath, which is quite thick. There's about 25 millimeters of timber under there. However, in the end I bottled it because I just don't think whacking a 2.5 inch screw up through there is a sensible thing to do. And it is a DIY job and mistakes do happen. So what we're going to try to do is figure out where to fix any battens onto these tiles so that we can we'll have something for the bath panel to go up against. Obviously we have to bear in mind the panel's going to go behind this edge of the bath, so that batten on the left and right needs to set back by the 15 millimeters of the panel, but towards the bottom there it has to set back even further because the plinth fixes behind the panel. So you need a batten with a slight dog leg in it, as far as I can figure out. I'm going to get the tape measure out and see what I come up with. Right, I found an offcut of something, melamine board or something, which is the same thickness as the bath panel. So what we can do is just stick that under there, under the bath, so we can detect the right place for our batten. So stick that under the edge of the bath panel and mark the tiles along the back of your test piece, so the batten will now fix on the back edge of that line. This is the depth of the panel, and we're going to have to step it back there. We're going to have to step the batten back to accommodate the thickness of the plinth. Right, now I'm holding that batten underneath the bath edge, as you can see. I've just marked at both ends of the batten I've marked onto the tiles so that I can prepare the upright which is going to go on that line I've drawn onto the tiles. So we'll get in a bit complicated, but we think with a bit of luck it's going to work. Right, I've cut out this bumper 3x2 which was kicking about, and all being well with this little rebate here, that should go there nicely. Now I'm not very keen on screwing into those lovely new tiles, so we'll probably try to stick this stuff on the wall with grab adhesive. The other thing I did was decided to be a little bit clever, and so this is the batten that's going to go under the bath. I've notched out the top of the upright batten, so technically, all being well, that should sit on there like that when the thing's up under the bath. Whether that comes out right, that's anybody's guess, but we'll see very soon. Right, so all being well, when I've actually stuck this to the tiles, this is the thickness of our panel. That should go under there like that. And this is the thickness of the plinth, roughly. The plinth is going to go in that rebate, and then the panel will come down on top of it like that. This is the plan. However, like all DIY projects, things can go wrong. Right, I've applied just a modest amount of grab adhesive because you know, this thing's not going to be taking any wear and tear in my opinion, so just put a small amount on just to hold it in place. That's all it's got to do. For the bottom batten, I've found some cheap brackets. I don't know where they came from, but I'm going to fix those along the bottom too. We fix this to the floor in a way that will make it nice and stable for the people who want to kick the plinth. Right, while we had those brackets out, I've popped a couple on these corners since they were cheap and cheerful. Found a couple of lumps of 4x2 which I have added to the frame just to help stabilise the whole thing. Bearing in mind, of course, that you need to step it back that 10mm here, the thickness of the plinth. Otherwise it's going to come out wrong at the bottom. I suppose what you could do is fix these offcuts on there just to take up the slack so that the panel will actually be almost supported the whole way. But since it's 15mm thick, I don't think it's going to wobble about too much. Don't think it's going to go too far. So what we'll do now is leave all this to go off and give our knees a rest, and we'll have a go at actually fitting the panel next time. Right, we've come to the interesting part where we show the panel to the bath and the plinth. This is the bath panel. It's got a jazzy piece of mirror glass in it. What I've already discovered is we're going to have to trim it, one end or the other. So just offering it in there, in the approximate place, we can see that the wall's not up straight. So I have to come to a decision now whether we trim one end or the other end. Let's just try the thing. Let's just try it in the other end. Maybe this is... No, that wall's even further out of straight at that end. I don't want to trim both ends if I can help it. Right, we've decided it's the floor that's running out, not the walls. So this means I'm going to trim this end, and the plinth will hide the discrepancy in the floor. That's the plan anyway. So we're just going to measure up and trim this end. Right, I've marked out the panel using some masking tape, and you've probably noticed already that we're going to have to cut through this mirror glass, which is real glass. So we're going to find that a bit difficult. However, let's have a look in the old toolbox and see what we can find in here. Now this is a glass cutter from way back when. I don't know if I'll still be able to use this, but we're going to have to cut the glass first, I think, and then saw through the timber. Perhaps that might be the way to do it. Right, we might as well film this, so if it all goes wrong, at least we get a laugh. Got a piece of straight edge here, and we've got our glass cutter. Must have had this donkey's years. Let's have a look. So you get your glass cutter, and the wheel doesn't go exactly on the edge. Obviously the wheel's in the centre of that thing, so you sort of figure out where your straight edge wants to be, a little bit back from the line. And then from memory, I haven't done this for a long time, you only really want to do one cut across there if you can. I think that's what we used to do. So here we go, plenty of pressure. Okay, that's made a little mark in the glass. I think I'll go against my own advice and we'll give it another go. Just a minute. Right, well, there's a nice line across that glass. I think if you keep going at it, in the end you do more damage than good. So there's a distinct line across that mirror there. So I think we call that done. We're going to use a fine tooth saw to cut through this MDF board. Made a start at this end. Then I'm going to come from the other end, then turn the thing over and carefully cut the last remaining piece of MDF from the back of that mirror. So hopefully the MDF will drop off and we'll be just left with the mirror glass sticking out, which we can hopefully just break off. Right, that's as far as we're cutting. Now I'm going to turn the board over and see if we can carefully cut the back of it. See, this is going to be a bit harder than it looks. I've transposed the lines there where the glass is to give me a clue. So when I hear the saw rattling, I know we're on glass. Okay, well, we might as well keep filming because it might get very interesting. Right, well, the saw made a different noise then, so I think we've gone through the MDF and we're touching the glass. So I'll try to just break this piece of timber off and the glass should just be left sticking out, all being well according to our plan. Well, we'll see any second now. Well, I turned the thing over and just flexed it a bit to see if the MDF was indeed cut through, and the whole piece has just dropped off. Yeah, so there's our finish. You can see we've sawn through the MDF. The glass is going to be lethally sharp, so I'm going to find something to just grind the edge off a little bit, just for the handling of it. Right, now what I'm using to take the edge off that glass is a sharpening stone. I think it's made of carborundum or something. It's the thing you use for sharpening your chisels. And we're just sort of grinding along the end here. Like that, and this way a little bit. And that has just rounded that off nicely there. So that's how you tidy up the glass and make it so it's not so lethally sharp. Well, it looks to me as if I take a tiny shaving off the bottom there, the bottom left hand corner, we'll probably be able to ease that in there. Okay. Taking a little shaving off. Yes. So that's going to fit under there like that. Right, there's the, I've just put the plinth in its place, roughly, after we cut it to size. Now from the instructions I believe you have to somehow fix the plinth to the back of the panel, which, right, so if we put the panel back in the hole, we should be able to mark where the plinth goes, I guess. How do we know how far to shove the panel up? Right, hang on, I think we need to put some marks somewhere on this panel. Where's a bit of masking tape? Right. Right, what I'm going to do is put some masking tape on the panel, because I only want the panel to go underneath the bath by just say 10 mil. I don't want to jam it right up under there. So, right, so that'll be my line, and I'm going to see if we can get this in place now. I've actually put a latex glove on because it helps you hold on to this shiny surface. Right, so if we put this back in the hole carefully and then lift it up to that mark that I've made, yeah, and then using your foot get that in place. I've got no idea if that's plumb, but the point is it fits nice and upright at the end. I'm going to now that's dropped, so my marks are going to be all over the place. Right, let's have a look. Quite heavy, that MDF. Right. Right, so there's the marks on the plinth. Now I gather from the instructions that we are supposed to fix the plinth to the rear view of the panel. How the hell you... Okay. Right, we have to figure this out. Right, I've used some G-cramps here to hold the two pieces together, the panel and the plinth. Always use some offcuts to protect your panel. Obviously the more times we're handling this, the more danger there is of actually marking the thing. So when you've got the thing clamped together, mark the back of your plinth so you can see where to do your screws. I've drilled those through using a very small drill bit and to a maximum depth of 12 millimeters, bearing in mind the plinth is 10 millimeters thick. And then just got some miscellaneous screws to go through to fix the plinth to the back of the bath panel. Right, now we'll see if this actually works. So we've fixed the plinth onto the bottom of the panel by screwing through from the back as described. Now we actually find out if the whole job will go under the bath. I've no idea if this is actually going to work. It all feels a bit tight to me. Not sure what you hold on to while you're doing this. Careful, steady, easy. Yeah. Right. That's kind of in there. How does that look, guys? Is that alright? I don't know how long it's taken to do this, but it seems to have been hours. I'm not sure that whether getting a sheet of white furniture grade melamine board from B&Q for about 25 quid and just sawing it into the hole would be a better option. But anyway, there we are. We've had a go. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found this helpful, well, that's good, and if you didn't, well, I'm sorry you've wasted your time.